But over the weekend, it was pretty amazing. You talk about the Fed. We want to talk about the Fed today. Put on that first clip because this is something I just updated this. I just looked up this morning and updated it. So Senator Mike Lee over yesterday, he said, raise your hand if you'd like to see Ron Paul as Federal Reserve Chairman. And to which Elon Musk responded, that would be amazing. And that has now 40.2 million views, Dr. Paul. You probably never realized, I thought you would get that. But it started out a little earlier. I think it was a day early if you go to the next one. Now this is a friend of the Institute. In fact, a former Ron Paul scholar, Liam McCollum, he tweeted out yesterday or 2 days ago, Doge and Elon Musk should let Ron Paul lead a Federal Reserve audit team. To which Elon Musk said, good idea. And that was picked up everywhere on X. Go to the next one, including to this very, very large account, who reported it as a news article, Elon, Ron Paul should lead a Federal Reserve audit. And on and on it goes. So it really, Dr. Paul made a huge, huge impact over the weekend, this idea of you being involved in the process of auditing the Fed.
Well, my first reaction is go slow, think about this, and don't get too excited because I know the ups and downs of all this. Because I over the years, even before I was in Congress, I was delighted to be introduced to the ideas of the Austrian School of Economics and what sound money was all about, and educated enough by 1971 that there would be some big changes after that. I personally saw myself as an educator in politics, and that my efforts would be slow motion. You know, it wouldn't be like tomorrow we decide this and there's a revolution. I expected, and I still expected that method to be benefit, because I do think that people have to have the ideas on the bottom in order to see. It wasn't like our revolution popped out of thin air because they got mad at some British general. You know, yeah. They knew the history of liberty, and they came up with some pretty good ideas. So I think the money issue, and there's so much in history. So I'd like to say that over the years, my comments come because I really know everything about the monetary issue. But I'll tell you, I've enjoyed reading, because it fascinates me, that the history of the importance of money and central banking is really important. And once you tie that into all the excesses, so today they're talking about efficiency of government. Yeah. Well, that's good, and I support it. But I also urge them to think about what's behind it. What do you have to have in order to have an empire and militarism around the world and a runaway welfare state and a government taking over education and all this stuff? And that is, you have to have ideology that supports that. Now, I didn't invent the ideology, it came from history, and it also is something that, is currently undermined. I had to get it from, people like Leonard Read, people who wrote like Lew Rockwell and others, that put the information out. So I see that as important, and I'm sort of in the middle of that, excited about it, but I never got offered a good job in a university to go and teach this stuff. I was still practicing medicine, but that kept me in a very practical world.
You've actually been the biggest professor in history because the whole country, the whole world is your classroom on this. But, the Fed is the key. And I remember we've talked about it on the show when we went and visited with Tucker Carlson. And he said, at first I thought, this Fed stuff, it's esoteric. I don't understand. I don't think it's that important. I don't know why he's into it. And then later he came to realize, I sort of felt that way myself because, this Fed stuff is interesting, but I'm in favor of anti-war activity to stopping the war. And then I finally realized the Fed is the key. It's great that we're finding out what Treasury does, we're finding out what AID does, but the Fed is the head of the hydra. That's where all the money comes from. That's where it flows from.
Yeah, I was fascinated with that interview with with Tucker, because he says, when I heard that, because he didn't go out there, he was out there as an academician and an honest journalist and this sort of thing, but he explained his surprise. What is he doing? He came from an outfit at the time. It wasn't exactly libertarian, but he was very honest and upfront, and he was very complimentary, because who was giving me validation? It was a lot of young